that says like red wine staining his beard.
Yes, there's a connotation for blood there. Good.
And then murder clues.
Murder clues, right, in line 18, great. And what else?
One bite dead.
One bite dead, 27, good.
I crawled in his wake.
I crawled in his wake, yes. And then in lines 34 to 35, it took 10 years in the woods to tell that a mushroom stalker is the mouth of a buried corpse. There's a connotation to, in reference and foreshadowing to his death is there as well. And how is the conflict in the poem resolved? She kills him, she cuts him up from scrotum to throat, and she reclaims the virgin bones of her grandmother. And that's where there's sort of the connotation that it was this character protagonist in our poem is the granddaughter of Little Red Riding Hood because there's the virgin bones, and obviously if it was the actual grandmother, they wouldn't be virgin bones because there was offspring. So there's, but both connotations are there, like both is sort of implied. How many people were satisfied with the resolution to the poem?
Oh my
I thought it was good.
goodness.
It was funny. That's good. Okay. So the activity I have for you to do today, I have a couple of different pieces of literature in your grid. Some of which adhere to traditional gender roles, and some of which challenge or refute them, so you can read through them and see which one you enjoy the best. I cut the first page just so I didn't have to make it a separate page. So basically, I think there's 5 actually, I lied. You're going to do a 1 to 3 page gender criticism of the text. The essay should be about the same length as the diagnostic and the fiction test essay. However, you can make it as long as you want. You'll do 2 drafts of it. I'll give it back to you with some comments, and then you can submit a final draft for a grade. So you're going to decide first whether traditional gender roles are enforced and or challenged, then choose specific examples from the text and explain what gender roles they emphasize. You want to have an introduction, a body, and the body can be 1 paragraph, or if you'd like to develop it into multiple, that's entirely fine too, and a conclusion. The introduction should state whether overall the text supports or refutes traditional gender roles. The body should contain textual quotes and explanations that give examples of gender roles being enforced or challenged, and both can happen. And your conclusion should explore perhaps how the theme and impact of the text would be altered if the gender roles were different in the piece. So the first poem is called Barbie Doll, which is an iconic, figure of female beauty. And the poem's about a girl that was, healthy, smart, intelligent, but then society told her that she had fat legs and a big nose, and what happened because of that. The second piece of literature is Pinocchio, which most people are familiar with that story. And in some really interesting ways, it actually deviates from traditional gender roles. We have, the man being sort of the maternal figure and some other stuff going on there. The third piece of literature is Pope Joan, and in the Catholic faith, what can women not become? Priests or popes. And there was, it is said that there was a female pope, and this is about her view of being a pope versus giving birth. And then the last poem, if you're offended by bad language or anything that delves into like R-rated material, stay away from it. You can just choose from the first 3 pieces, but this is Mrs. Beast, and that's by Carolyn Duffy. She also wrote the Little Red Cap poem, and it basically depicts females in a more empowered role than they were mythologically and historically in different pieces of literature. I think it's a great poem, but like I said, I don't want anyone to feel offended, so if you're offended by material that delves into like PG-13R, just don't read it. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go to the library. You can type or handwrite it. Most people choose to type, and like I said, I'll have you do a draft today. If you work through the class period and don't finish it, you can turn it in tomorrow. I'll give it back to you with feedback, and then sometime next week you can turn in the final draft.
And the poetry test is tomorrow.
Yes, and we'll go over the review before the test.
Oh, okay.
And then next week's the last week. Well, it's gonna change so much, like the dynamic of like the days. There'll be like 25 people in here.
Like as small as possible right now. Brief moment of panic and shit.
No,
I have a
That's fine.
computer. I just
just email it to me and I'll print it out.
I'll do it. I got completely set. I thought I did, and wasn't sure if I did it out or not. I did it like.
Yeah, and so you
I have yours. And then for your final draft of your fiction essay. It's fine for tomorrow.
They like,
Or you,
I think I
okay, and then I did yours too. But I have to give yours back in comments, I'll do that today.
I want this on it print,
Typed up, please.
Did you get there after me this morning?
Yes,
Did you see John?
he was totally fine with that.
Wait, which one was it?
Ballistic.
Oh, really? He was totally cool this morning. I'm sorry?
I wonder if I put that into
The final draft?
I
Yeah.
Okay, I have that.
Mm, I'll give you some comments on yours today. I just have to print it out.
I also could use help
Yeah, no,
knowing.
he was like completely cool this morning. We hung out for a few minutes, like, he was like
such a
sparkle
little
fingers. Yeah, no, he was fine. Funny. Okay.
Claire was happy as could be. She walked right in while I actually helped that Megan was in with the ones this morning. She just like ran to her and hugged her and like, okay, bye.
Josh decided because Claire was easy
Yeah.
that he would.
And he like, I don't know. I don't understand it. He just has this like separation.
Yeah, no, and he knows that he can work you. Like, you
He is so manipulative.
know, I mean, that's a traditional male quality.
Exactly.
I need a better conscious understanding what to do, almost like pretending like I've never been here in our class. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
Okay, so you're gonna read through those things, the poems that I gave you.
both packets.
Read through the first. Okay. hold on.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, like, 'cause I'm also behind like in other stuff, so I'm not sure what I really need to know so I can actually catch
So-
up.
This is the poetry test.
Is that the only thing that matters,
No.
or the vocabulary? Like, that's what
You
I'm,
have to-
that's
you
what I'm
have to
wondering. What do
look-
I need to do?
Terms too.
Illusion.
Let's see. It'll be the terms, and then it will be
Terms of
poems
this.
and questions. So yesterday we went over that packet with gender criticism. I mean, it's basically looking at how gender roles like affect literature. So you like in this little assignment, you just look at, you know, one of the poems or one of the stories, and you look at how gender roles, which is what society tells us boys and girls should be, affect the story. Like this little girl is super smart, she's really pretty, and she's strong, but because she doesn't look like a Barbie doll, she felt inadequate and killed herself. So the effect of gender roles on this story is that this beautiful, like intelligent, strong girl killed herself because society told her she was fat.
Okay.
You know, in Pinocchio, we have a man that takes care of a little boy, which is untraditional because typically it's a woman. And then the fairy godmother, who's like the savior in the story, is unusual because usually it's a man. So you look at how gender roles affect like the content
Okay.
and the effect of it on the story.
Okay.
And then read through the packet. And then just read through the little like this packet. There's some more information about it there, so read through that first.
Okay.
So you know, if you need to read through this packet first and then turn it in tomorrow, that's totally fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Awesome.
And the test is on these poems.
Yes, and then so yeah, this
Okay.
packet we did yesterday.
And this is gonna help with today's assignment.
Yeah. You'll like this.
Yeah, I already know. I'm just trying to catch up.
Okay. You know, so gender roles developed because we were like back in caveman days, like you popped out a baby, like you had to take care of it. Like you couldn't go hunt or, you know, build a house or do any of that stuff. Like women stayed at home. But from those biological needs, like we've developed into this culture where like girls are nurses, boys are doctors, girls are secretary, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
boys working construction, girls sit behind a desk.
yeah, and if you are a female doing a traditionally male job like a plumber, you're either masculated or sexualized. Like there is no like normal female plumbers. You know, and same with men though. Like a man hairstylist is what?
Right.
Gay.
Yeah,
I mean that's so we look at how the fact that like none of that's natural, it's all culturally and socially derived.
So that's all I missed.
Yeah.
It was just gender
And we
stuff.
and we looked at like some pictures and we like watched Little Red Riding Hood and it was fun. But
Right on. I like the backup story though that Carol.
I love Carolyn Duffy.
Yeah, I like a lot of her stuff.
You'll like the Mrs. Beast poem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Want to print out your